Hey everyone, my name is Kristen and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am currently a new grad nurse studying for my NCLEX exam, which is coming up pretty quickly. I keep getting asked questions all about how to prepare for nursing school, what should I expect, what's next. So in this video, I'm going to be covering all those topics so you can use this as your guide to what to expect for nursing school. So if you are interested in this topic, just go ahead and keep watching. Alright y'all, so I am filming with my camera again. Now, if you haven't really followed me for too long, I did break it earlier this year, and this is the first time I'm using my camera. I've been so nervous to just pick this camera back up and use it, but it did just fall right off my tripod. So here we go into this video. Hopefully the quality is a little bit better than what I've been filming with. So in today's video, I will have just a couple sections to talk about, and I will have tips and tricks in each of those sections just so you know what better to expect and just so this video is a little bit more organized. Now, when it comes to nursing school and getting that acceptance, let me tell y'all, I know how exciting it can be, and of course I just want to say congratulations. I also know how overwhelming it can be as well, because there is so much you have to look forward to and so much you have to get prepared for. I didn't have very many friends who went through nursing school. I only had a couple, and of the few nurses that I know, many of them went to nursing school a while back, so things have changed a little bit. For my own experience, I really did turn to YouTube. So my first tip that I have for y'all, get advice from other people, go on YouTube, talk to basically anyone who you can. Everyone has different journeys, everybody has different experiences. So for me, it was really helpful to talk it out with other people to really see what I needed, what to expect. I decided to go to a school all the way up in the Midwest, and if you don't know, I am already back home in Florida. I took my first position at a hospital in Florida, so I did pick up and go just for nursing school. The first topic I really just want to cover is knowing yourself. There are a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to just knowing who you are and understanding yourself. It really does relate to nursing school. Now, you really have to understand your learning style. I know I've talked about this on my channel before, and for me, I used to be a visual learner. I used to think that videos and basically anything that was visually appealing really helped me study. When I got into nursing school, I realized that I was definitely more auditory, and I was a very kinesthetic learner. So I had to write everything down, use flashcards, keep my hands moving. Those two things really helped me throughout nursing school. If you know your learning style before you start nursing school, it will definitely give you that advantage. Unfortunately, some students learn later on what learning style works best for them. And when you're in nursing school and you're really busy and your exams are basically your grades, it's not good to be relying on just trial and error in nursing school. So if you can really figure that out beforehand, that should help your transition whenever you are starting nursing school. Now, when it comes to knowing your learning style and note taking, color code, have fun, and color up your notes. These pens are my favorite pens. These are the Pilot G2, and I also have the Zebra Medliner highlighters. These things were my favorite throughout nursing school. I love to highlight, and I've been using this throughout my NCLEX studying. I love to color code things. It helps me memorize things a lot easier, and I can tell I'm recalling the information faster because I remember specifically what color that information's in. Have fun with your notes, really go above and beyond, note take, and just enjoy what you're doing because you have to try to make learning nursing school material fun. Now, the other thing I want to talk about when it comes to yourself, and that is really understanding your stressors. The reason that I say this is because in nursing school, you are going to need to have a good balance of studying as well as taking some time for yourself. Now, if you're really able to understand what stresses you out, you can really make sure that you keep yourself in a healthy mindset and you try to keep your stress levels down. Of course, we know stress can really linger in our minds and keep us distracted, and really it makes it hard to think. And these nursing style questions are all about critical thinking, so you wanna make sure you keep a clear head, you work on that mental health before you get into nursing school. The more positive mindset you're in, and really just healthy mindset, the easier it will be for you to adjust to nursing school. And it gives you an idea of what your stress relieving techniques are. For me, and this is just my experience, I love going on long walks. I also love to sing. I also do love photography, taking time for myself to watch movies and try new foods, try new things. So those are just things that I did throughout nursing school. And of course, I always made sure to take one day a week off. I did absolutely nothing. While I never truly had a set time management schedule, I really did listen to my body. Whenever I felt like my body needed a break, that was the day that I took off that week, and that really helped me recharge and regroup for the next week of nursing school. Now for the next topic that I'm going to talk about, which is the bulk of what I'm going to discuss today, and that is understand what nursing school is going to cost, understand your finances, and understand what budget you are going to have. Nursing school is so expensive. I didn't realize myself how much nursing school was going to be. Thankfully, I had some savings put away before I started. I realized how quickly that money was dwindling down, and most of that was because of all the supplies I had to purchase and things that I had to do before nursing school started. I really wish somebody would have told me, but I'm about to go through everything that you are gonna have to purchase before nursing school, at least from my experience. Now, one thing I wanna mention when it comes to thinking about cost in nursing school, you really have to think about housing. Where are you gonna live? Are you gonna live on campus, off campus? Are you gonna do dorms? Are you gonna get your own apartment? Are you gonna get a house with roommates, an apartment with roommates? You have to make sure that you're budgeting for transportation as well as food, any additional expenses and utilities. So that's just an extra thing to think about that I feel like we don't think about right away, but that really added up for me whenever I had to pay for everything on my own. So I'm going to talk about supplies, and then I'm going to go into the study resources that you can purchase that worked best for me that I decided to purchase. The first major purchase you are going to have to make before nursing school is your nursing school scrub. So I bought 2 pairs of scrubs, that's tops and bottoms. I also bought a warm-up jacket, and the reason why I bought the warm-up jacket is because I'm from Florida and I get cold very easily. So I know hospitals do tend to be a little bit more chilly inside, so I made sure that I purchased that for myself. And of course, I also had to buy a white lab coat. All of this costed me about $123. Now, I should say that is for my school. Of course, the next thing you'll have to buy are nursing shoes. Now, for my school, I had to wear white. I bought these Fila shoes that everyone raved about and said they were so comfortable with the memory foam. But just to give you an idea, these nursing shoes costed me $40 whenever I started, so I did try to look more for a bargain versus comfort. If you are looking for comfort, you may want to spend just a little bit more on your nursing shoes. One thing I wanted to mention when it comes to shoes is please buy yourself compression socks. I just have all black compression socks. These things were amazing. I definitely noticed a difference. It helps get your blood flowing, and I could tell my feet didn't hurt as much whenever I was actually wearing the compression socks versus not wearing them. Now, of course, you will need some sort of backpack or bag to keep your things in. I already did a what's in my backpack video for nursing school, so I will go ahead and link that right here for you to watch. I used the North Face Borealis backpack. I absolutely love that backpack. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years now, and it looks brand new. I highly recommend North Face. It's a good brand. I know the backpacks tend to be a little bit more expensive, but I did get that one on sale one year. Now moving on to the fun supplies that I have available. So I'm gonna go through all the supplies that my school required me to have. And for the first thing, this is my stethoscope case. They didn't require us to have one, but I did just want to go ahead and put my stethoscope in something so it wouldn't get ruined. The stethoscope that I have is a Littmann Classic 3. So this one is the all black with the rainbow bell and diaphragm. Now, I did get a little name charm to put on my stethoscope just so I knew it was mine. I got this specifically from Etsy, and it just has my name, Kristen, and then just a leaf right here. I highly recommend to purchase a good stethoscope. This is something that you should put a little bit of money into, regardless of the brand, because while you're in nursing school, you have to learn the sounds of the body. If you don't have a good stethoscope, you're not gonna know what to listen to. You're not gonna be able to interpret what you're hearing. It's really important to invest in a good stethoscope. Another thing I had to purchase before nursing school is a blood pressure cuff, and I did get a Paramed one. This has been one of the best blood pressure cuffs that I've used. I really like how there was a metal piece right here, so it made it really easy to just open and close the cuff and put it on somebody. I did purchase another one before nursing school started, and the metal piece back here fell off, and then the gauge just did not work. So I recommend to just make sure you find a good brand. It can still be a cheap one, just make sure it's a good brand. The next thing that I used actually has a few things in it, is this scrub pocket organizer. I just had my things in it, so I just thought I would show y'all. This is not mandatory, but it was very helpful for me to keep things organized. My bandage scissors right here, and mine are just a small version of bandage scissors. I didn't want ones that were super big, and these work great. They're very sharp. I also have a dry erase marker, and I have a bunch of different colors. I bought a whole bunch before clinical started. Whenever you're in clinical, there is always going to be a whiteboard that you can write on right in front of the patient's bed, and that's just to go ahead and label whenever you're doing your hourly rounding, or if the patient has any questions or any information that the patient needs to know, you can just write it on there. I noticed that nurses never carried them around, so I just got myself some, and it was so helpful. I always was prepared when it came to dry erase markers. I can't quite find them, but I do have pen lights. I'll go ahead and link the ones I had right here. Now, I do know that some schools like you to have the natural light ones, because the ones that I had were LED, and they are very bright, but it seems like nowadays all the ones that you can find online are the LED ones, and they worked fine. Now, just a few extra things I wanted to talk about that might be helpful whenever you are going through your clinical rotations or whenever you're in lab. So the first item that's just optional, but I really just wanted to let y'all know about, which I know I've talked about all on my channel, and that is my foldable clipboard. This thing was amazing. It fits in your scrub pocket when it's folded. You don't have any HIPAA violations because it covers patient information. It has all this reference information that you could go to in case you needed it. And when you open it up, it's very stable. I thought, you know, writing on this, it would bend, but it's pretty stable. I've never had that issue. It's super sturdy, so it's very easy to write on. And whenever you need to close it up and go, you can just fold it away and put it in your scrub pocket. Just another additional thing I wanted to add in. Now, this is completely optional, but I do have a clear ID holder, and they do come in vertical and horizontal. Now, this was so helpful because I felt like every time I was wiping down my badge just to sterilize it, I was wiping off my picture, wiping off the barcode and everything I needed on there. So when I purchased one of these, I was definitely saving my ID from going through all those chemicals. The last optional thing that I wanted to talk about, mini highlighters, Sharpies, and a pen that go right on my badge reel. Now, I do have 6 highlighters, 4 Sharpies, and then I have a couple of these mini multiple colored pens. Now, this one's from Bic. All of these were so helpful. I just put 1 Sharpie and 1 highlighter on my ID, as well as the pen that I have here. And this just goes right on the back of my ID, and it's so helpful. There will be times whenever you're writing something down, you have to write something somewhere where it could smudge. Having a Sharpie is so important. And when it comes to just your report sheets, having different colors really helps making sure that you're staying organized. You're able to eliminate old information, write on top in different colors with new information. And if I ever lost a pen, I always had one on my badge, and I had 4 different colors readily available. I definitely turned to this in my clinical because I seem to always misplacing my pens, especially my expensive pens. So I always just like to have a cheap pen in case I do tend to misplace things. And before I forget to mention, something that is non-negotiable in nursing school is having some sort of planner or calendar on your phone, calendar on your computer, to make sure that you stay organized and are able to time manage in nursing school. Now, when it comes to lab supplies, I did go ahead and do a whole separate video on all the lab supplies that I got throughout my nursing program. I'm gonna go ahead and link that video here so you can see all the different lab supplies that I needed for lab, and that will help give you an idea of maybe some things you'll be seeing in lab, as well as maybe some materials or items that you might need to purchase beforehand as well. Now, moving on to different study resources that you might need. Now, one quick disclaimer I want to say, and that is, I get the question all the time, what should I study before I start nursing school? I do not suggest that you study anything before nursing school. Now, I know some people might get mad at me for saying that. However, you are about to enter a program where you're going to be so busy. You should really just take this time off to just relax, have fun, hang out with your friends who you're hardly ever going to see throughout your nursing program. Take this time to just enjoy your time off. Whenever you get vacations, please don't study during those vacations. Just take time for yourself. You really need to make sure you have that healthy mindset before you go into nursing school. And if you're trying to cram before nursing school even starts, you're gonna start nursing school very flustered, and you really should just take those extra days to just have fun with your family, be with your friends. Now, if you feel like you really have to do something, because I know some students always say, oh, but I really need to, study anatomy and physio. Really having a good background and foundation in your anatomy and physio will really help you recall health conditions, really help you with that pathophysiology before you start nursing school. Now, I'm gonna go through some study resources that I think would be very helpful for you to purchase before your nursing program. Now, you don't have to purchase all of these. I'm just giving you some suggestions for you to look at and then find one that works for you. Now, starting with some free resources, there are Quizlets. I highly recommend throughout nursing school that you do practice questions. You're never gonna hear me say that enough. That is what helped me do as well as I did in nursing school. Now, whenever you go on Google, you can just search the topic you're looking for, and you can put nursing style questions next to it. You can look at Quizlets that have question and answer with the rationale. Now, just caution that some Quizlets can be inaccurate because they are from different people who are utilizing the study resource, but know that most of it is reliable, and this is a great free resource for you to use. Now, the next free resource that I have for you is Registered Nurse RN. I loved watching her YouTube videos. She has fun mnemonics and things that you can use, and she even has free quizzes that you can go ahead and just quiz yourself and see how you know the material. I definitely did her quizzes whenever I ran out of practice questions to do. The next free resource that I have for you is nurselabs.com, and I use nurselabs.com all the time for my care planning. Write that down, nurselabs.com for care planning. Nurse Labs was so helpful. I was able to just pull that up, and I pretty much had my care plan already done because of Nurse Labs. And Nurse Labs does have a bunch of practice questions, so you can look up all these different quizzes if you need more practice. I am gonna start going through the paid resources that I paid for whenever I was in nursing school that really helped me. The first one that I have is my Saunders NCLEX examination study book. I opened this book from day one, and I was actually told to do that, and I'm so happy that I did, because whenever I go back and reread over this stuff for NCLEX, it's pretty familiar because I've already looked at it once, and there's tons of practice questions in here that I used to think were very difficult, and now that I've learned everything I have, I'm going back over questions and I'm like, wow, I've learned a lot from this textbook, so I highly recommend it. The next resource that I recommend, now this resource came with my school in my tuition, so I did pay for it, but that is ATI. A lot of schools do use ATI, so just know that this could be a resource in your tuition, but if not, if you could get your hands on the bundle of books for ATI for every class you are gonna do, those books are so helpful. They are Cliff's Notes version, very easy to read. They go on the nursing process, and that's pretty much how all my notes were organized throughout nursing school. It's just a very easy way to read through the info and really comprehend it. I recommend using their online resources. They have tons of questions online. Sometimes their questions can be a little funky, but as you really understand the information and you're going through it, it starts to make a little bit more sense, but I really do like their book and what they have to offer. The next resource that I have for y'all, and I will have a 20% off link in my description box if you are interested in this resource, and that is Picmonic. Now, I used Picmonic in MedSurg 2 on some of the concepts that I couldn't grasp right away, and that's cardiac and respiratory. It was very helpful, but now that I'm studying for my NCLEX, this resource is a lot more helpful than I thought it was gonna be. I have been utilizing Picmonics and really realized that their silly characters and the stories have really helped me memorize the information that I could not learn throughout nursing school. If you can get your hands on a Picmonic subscription, go ahead, check them out, see if you like it. It's very helpful for individuals who are visual learners and people who need more of that mnemonic style to help study for nursing school. The next resource that I'm gonna talk about, which I will put a picture right here, is the Davis's Success Series. Now, I specifically used this book in Foundations as well as Pharm, Med-Surg, OB, and Peds. This is just a Q&A book, so there's a bunch of NCLEX style questions, and then they have the answers with the rationales. I do know that these books are around $20 to $30 per class, so you don't have to buy them for every class. You can rent them. The rationales are very good in these books, and I know I loved using them throughout nursing school. Now, the last two resources that I'm going to be talking about are the Davis's Drug Guide and Nursing Central. Now, these apps are both made by Unbound Medicine, but the Davis's Drug Guide is just a drug guide, and it was very helpful to have it on my phone because this is all I had to take to clinical. I didn't have to take a bunch of books. I didn't have to take anything heavy with me. All I had were my app. The nice thing about the Davis's Drug Guide is all I had to do was search the drug that I was looking for, and then it had everything I needed. So it had the name, a picture, the indication, mechanism of action, as well as side effects, symptoms, administration, patient education. So everything you needed is in that drug app. And I'm pretty sure per year it's around $40 if I can remember. So I did purchase it myself whenever I was going through nursing school. And the second app by the same creator is Nursing Central. So this one has the Davis's Drug Guide in it, but there is a lot more in here. There's a calculator, there's a medical dictionary, lab values and tests, diseases and disorders, and there also is a PubMed in here. So this app was super helpful throughout nursing school. Just like the Davis's Drug Guide, you can search anything you want within the app and it would take you specifically to what you're looking for. I highly recommend you just checking them out and seeing if you like them, just because carrying around a book versus having an app on my phone was so helpful for me. Now I'm getting to the fun stuff, and that is my experience in orientation. You have so much to look forward to when it comes to orientation, and that is because you get to meet your future classmates, you get to meet some of your professors, you get to learn about your school a little bit better, and you get to learn about the new grading scale. Yes, in nursing school, the grading scale goes up, so you do have to put yourself to a higher standard when it comes to passing your exams. In my nursing school, it was a 75 and above, but I have heard other nursing schools are 80, 85. Learn your grading scale because that is so important whenever you are going through classes. Now, in orientation, I learned all about the program and I learned all about just tutoring, what resources were available. And of course, I purchased so many things at orientation. Like I mentioned earlier, I purchased my scrubs at orientation. I purchased my parking pass at orientation. I know parking passes can range. In my nursing program, I believe my parking pass was $340, so that gives you an idea that parking can range from school to school. So just know that you have to budget for the parking pass if you have to park on campus. And you probably should know you also have to budget for parking depending on where your clinicals are gonna be. I had to pay for parking at certain clinical sites, and I do know lots of people ended up having to carpool because the parking was very expensive per day. So know that you do have to budget that in as well. Now, many students in orientation purchased the book bundle, which was $600 for our first semester. However, I decided to order all my books off of Amazon, and I cut that price and ended up renting all my books for $200. I realized that I didn't even purchase all of them and I didn't need to. So whenever it came to the next 3 semesters of nursing school, I just used PDF copies of the books, and I actually never purchased a book again. That is a way to cut costs if you're looking to cut costs before nursing school starts. One of the last things I want to talk about when it comes to getting prepared before nursing school is Castle Branch. Now, your school might use something a little bit different, but my school uses a program called Castle Branch, and this is a company that takes all your information and can perform a background check for you, as well as help you get all the information for your immunizations together. They collect your CPR certification and they collect your drug test results. So Castle Branch was over $100 because you're paying somebody to collect all this information. I did have to go to the doctor. I had to get titers done, which costed money. I did have to get vaccinations for the titers that came back negative, so I had to go through my vaccinations again. I had to get Hep B and varicella. And I did have to pay for my BLS CPR certification, and all that information was collected through Castle Branch. And once all that information was collected, I was then able to go to my clinical site. That's just something to think about, that your school might have some sort of program like this, and your school might also require you to get titers, as well as your school might require you to get immunizations done. The last thing that I can suggest when it comes to getting prepared for nursing school, that is go to your school website and figure out what things you need to get done beforehand. Every school is different. I can only speak from my experience. Like I said, watch different YouTubers, talk to different people who have gone through nursing school, see what you should do beforehand. I try to give you ideas on what you're gonna have to purchase before school. But like I said, every school is different, and your school website and even your academic advisor will have all the information that you need beforehand. Don't forget not to study before nursing school. Take this time to enjoy your time off, hang out with friends and family, do the things you love before you are going to be stressed for the next couple years. I promise. I did not do anything before nursing school other than get things that I needed, for example, like supplies and just all my books and all that, and really get my place in order because I had to purchase stuff for my new place up where I was living. So do all that. Don't stress about worrying about the information. You have 2 years to learn all that before your NCLEX, and then afterwards, if you're like me, you have so much time to prepare for your NCLEX, so there's no need to worry about learning all this information. Just enjoy your time off before you are busy and have to unfortunately pick and choose what you are going to do because you are going to be so busy with school. I hope that gives you all the information that you need before you enter nursing school, and I hope that you can use this as your guide and it's packed full of information. I always just want to thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos and supporting my channel, and of course I always just want to wish you luck on your nursing journey.